All right, all right, all right. Friday, and Putin hasn't moved yet. So before Ukraine gets bombed, subscribe, hit the bell, hit the like. Check me out on Twitter, trading. No, it's at trading underscore off. I've been kind of quiet past few days because the sun's been out and Davey gots to play. But today, you might hear it in the background. I'm in a bit of a wind and rainstorm. It should pass towards the middle of the day. Not as nice as it was yesterday. Yesterday, I was near in the 70s and I was out shirtless and partying. Um, but that should pass, and I got that nice long weekend. Looks like good weather. Um, so hopefully, I can get out and about, do some good daily activity. So, what are we looking at? The futures are showing us up about 20, about 20, 22 points. Ah, your sister's AFK. How did I close that? Oh, there it is. Pink. That puts us. What did we close? 380. That puts us at 400. Um, I don't know, man. That looks kind of like a bear flag. You got the momentum pointing down. It's pretty aggressive. Um, I mean, really, we're just testing that low of 364. I expect we're going to bounce off of it. This doesn't. This puts me in a very bearish frame of mind, thinking we're heading for that 310, 4310 mark. But if we jump over to the futures to kind of get a feel for things, this looks like we could argue a bull flag right here, right? And it looks like the futures 240 are turning around. So let's see, what time is 7? Yeah, okay, so this would be the market open. The next bar would be the market open. And if we can get the futures to pop this high on this bar, then that'll be a flag triggering, and then the next test would be a high of the 411. And I think that we're probably about 10 points uh, um, uh, variable between the value of the future and the market. So figure about 422. But these are the highs of the morning. So, I mean, I guess you could clock this, but if you see 44, I think 22, 44, 24 on the on the S&P during the trading day, then you would know that that 240 bull flag triggered on the futures, or you could roll back and check out the futures. But if you get a bull flag triggering on a 240 chart, that's a long move. That's a nice move. So that may take us back up. See if we can get to the 20. 433. I don't know, man. 50 points. Would we come down yesterday? About 90? Yeah, you know what? Halfway retracement wouldn't be bad. But yeah, today's triple witching. We're going into the weekend, into a long weekend. We got Putin and his cronies on the border of the Ukraine, which it's really a non-event. It's a non-event for us, but the market's going to have that knee-jerk reaction. People are going to talk it up, so we're going to have to watch that. But I mean, we're going to have to just look for that trigger right there. If we're looking at the S&P, there's really nothing encouraging on the S&P. But again, we'll open up. All the momentum on everything is just down. So it's scary. But yesterday, I mean, it wasn't that institutions were unloaded like the last debacle we saw in January. It was more like nobody was buying. So it seemed like a lot of retail investors, small timers, getting out of the market. There was nobody out there to buy their stock, so it just floated down. And it's really just that institutions are just sitting back and waiting. You got the Fed coming out on the 16th. These guys don't have to make money every month. They're in it for the long game. So they're kind of sitting back and waiting and seeing what's going on. Again, we're just floating down on light volume because it's the retail investor who's unloading. Normally, when the retail investor is comfortable and hedge funds step back, then the market just floats up. So that's really what's going on. It's kind of a bit of fear. But as long as we're not seeing that heavy volume we don't have to fall apart. Let's take a quick look at Bitcoin. Bitcoin, because a lot of people are breaking my chops. They're also going after AMC again, so we're going to take another look at that. But here, Bitcoin looks like it's making a daily flag. Here's the little retrace right here. So if it consolidates around this area, that's a classic flag. Then on Monday we could look for a trigger to the downside. Maybe take that. Looks like the momentum might support that move right there. And this is not saying Bitcoin's falling apart or anything. I mean, this is just simply a trading pattern. You have a gap here. It did a nice gap fill. And something I've seen with Bitcoin is that it's very respectful of the gaps. So if you see gaps to the upside and the downside, those are really good targets. I mean, how far down it goes, I do not know. But I would take that trigger on the daily for a swing trade. So and that's the 18th, right? Okay, so if I saw this, if it closes like this today, I would look for that trigger tomorrow. I mean, we're gonna know that setup better. There's nothing set up today. The only thing I would watch for today's trade, right? Because you understand this is live, this bar right now, so this is where it's at. I would watch this trend line right here, and if we broke that, I would take that trade to the upside. And then you have your moving averages as support and resistance, or whatever indicators you guys use. I mean, they're all relatively the same. They get you close. It's within spirit. You just have to know how to use them and read them. If you look at the 240, 240 is kind of encouraging. If I wanted to get into something early and quick today, I'd probably get in at the break of this high. So I would put and this is a good swing trade. I think. I mean, a real-time trade, we would drop down to like a 5-minute chart and trade that. If I analyze that and give you a direction on that chart right now, it would change in 10 minutes. So, yeah, that 4100 is probably what I'd be looking for. Breaking that 4100. Looks like it's probably going to happen shortly, too. Yeah, about 2 hours before this bar ends, but that's neither here nor there. I think within the 2 hours we can make the break, or the next move could be it. I would watch that. And then you have a really good. This is a really nice. Whoops. This is a really nice. I wouldn't say it's a nice setup, but it's something worth looking at, because look at that. You have that narrow range. You have very good support, very good resistance. You're in this channel. You just need the break. The momentum looks like it's fading. I mean, things will change when the U.S. comes on the box. Because right now this is mostly European trading. But once the U.S. comes on the box, the momentum could change. But I would take the break either way on this if you're trading Bitcoin. Long term, I never liked Bitcoin. I don't see the need for it as an investment. 60-minute looks okay. I mean, I wouldn't call that a bear flag. The retracement's too much, so it kind of negates a bear flag for me based on my rules. It's moving nicely. And let's take a look at AMC for all you crazy cats out there who keep getting involved. Oh yeah, look at this. I heard this was going to like 100,000, right? What happened? I mean, I keep seeing like that dude Matt's text. It's moving. It's on its way to the moon. All that shit. I mean, at this point, that shit is criminal. I mean, that I mean, what he's doing now is just sheer rookie. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you just keep screaming buy, buy, buy. Actually, that's how I was trained when I was in the boiler room arena. Hey, Mr. Jones, if you liked it at 100, you gotta love it at 50. Buy more. Yeah, somebody ought to look at these guys now. Because I mean, at one point we discussed it and we said, okay, this thing broke down, and it broke down. So, but anyway, if you are trading this and you are involved, and hopefully you're messing with money you just don't care about, you could watch that line. I would say more likely than not, it's going to break that line. I mean, this is the same pattern after it spiked, right? So what you have here are people are fading the rundown, taking their profits, then probably shorting again once it gets weak. So you can watch this pennant. I wouldn't make a move, barring, and this is a 60-minute chart, so you could use this as a swing trade, but I wouldn't make a move, barring any break from, if it broke lower, I'd take a shot. Your first test is going to be around 17 and change, and then a good target would probably be around the 16 mark, and then a break to the upside. And I mean, you got a lot of congestion on the upside. So, I mean, for this thing to rip, forget about it. It's got to break through all of these little clumps and clots, and you know. But you can give it a shot. I mean, if it breaks to the upside, your first test obviously would be that $20 point, and then I guess your ultimate target would be about 23 on a break. Let's take a look at it on the daily, or should we say, let's take a laugh at it on the daily. That's bottoming out. You see some momentum coming up, but it looks like, I mean, this is the same pivot, I think, that we are looking at. Oh, did it again. That we're looking at on the 60-minute. So you could wait for a break of that high if you wanted to go longer term. I don't know if it's really going to do it. It looks like the momentum is kind of fading out right now. It looks like people are rolling out. Just every time it pushes up to that line, you'll probably see some selling come in. Nah, I mean, you guys were good enough to push that shit really high. You know that the hedge funds average their cost up, and everybody who was shorting this. I mean, if you think about their business model, and you know what, this is armchair analysis, but really, I mean, they're renting space. They rent movies, basically. Put out the theater. It's just comes down to people are willing to go to the theater anymore. I mean, it's going to be rare for me to go to the theater. I mean, you can go to my house in the mountains, and I have a decent theater there. I'm comfortable. I don't have to worry about the idiot next to me who keeps talking or cell phones going off. I don't have to pay $18 for a box of Raisinets, and I have good seating, good view, and a big screen. So and I get to choose the company. So I don't know how theater's going to fare going forward. It doesn't seem like it's a good. I mean, you can liken AMC to the horse and buggy. So what they're doing is getting a bigger market share of an ever shrinking market. It doesn't sound like a good mix. So don't invest in it. But if you can get a grip on the on the volume, and if there's momentum in it, definitely, a trade's a trade. I mean, if you know the vehicle, then trade the vehicle. Trade the vehicle. It's not a retirement fund. And the get rich quick, sometimes you get lucky. So anyway, back to S&P, because that's what I know. That's what I make my money on. We'll take a look. We'll see what's going on. I don't think Putin's going to make a move over the weekend. I mean, it doesn't seem like it makes sense for this guy to go in there and take him over. You know what I mean? There's going to be too much pain involved. There's a lot more benefit for him to work out a deal. I mean, he should work out something with the Ukraine. The Ukraine is going to go through this shit for a long time. They could work out an amenable deal. They could say, look, all right, we're not going to look to join NATO for 20 years. Because I don't think NATO's going to let him in for 20 years. We promise we won't let NATO put any assets on our land. You promise you don't come into our land. And that's that. We made it, it's a wrap. And they have the backing of the West, so they have clout because we'll put sanctions on Russia. And you got to figure Russia's entire economy is like the size of Texas. So I mean, they don't want to fuck around. I mean, and China, China, they don't get behind anybody. I mean, they'll be like, yeah, we'll work it out for you, Putin, as long as it's good for Putin. If we crush Russia and they have little value, China's going to walk away. They're going to worry about their own interests. They're not going to placate to us because Russia fell, because Russia really is inconsequential right now. But then they're not going to compromise their future for the sake of Russia. And these guys never keep their word. They don't keep their word on anything. I mean, I've done business in China, and it's buyer beware, and the government lies like there's no tomorrow. So Well, I guess not, unlike most governments. So yeah, I don't see the invasion, but I see a lot of aggravation coming from the invasion. Yeah, trade accordingly, watch your downside. And hey, subscribe, hit the like, hit the bell. Be calm and cool. Get your meditation in. Be at peace when you trade. Enjoy the long weekend, and drop me some comments. Good luck today, trading.